Alright folks, we're going to be breaking down an incredibly interesting article that was posted today, July 6th, fresh off the press, titled Silver, a Weapon of Mass Financial Destruction. Now, I posted another video earlier today, one of my favorite videos I've made in a while, talking about how the military's been suppressing silver since the early 1960s. I'm going to show a little clip from that video, because if you haven't watched it yet, you definitely need to go watch it. Check this out. Silverwars.org is a very interesting website that dives deep into the military's involvement with silver backdating to the mid-1960s. It's a timeline briefing the numerous events that have led us to where we are now, with the U.S. National Department of Defense no longer documenting or even acknowledging silver. There's been claims urging the government to use the silver for military instead of solar panels, because whoever has the most silver can make the most amount of missiles, rockets, nukes, drones, torpedoes, satellites, bullets, and many other military weapons. So yes, he who owns the gold makes the rules, but more importantly, he who has the silver wins the war. So there you have it. It was an incredibly fun video to make. I know you're going to get a lot out of it. There was so much jam-packed information showing the time frame and the timelines and piecing all of it together from 1965 until now. I just know you're going to enjoy that video. I will post the link in the description and the pinned comment. Now let's talk about why silver is a weapon of mass financial destruction. This is a very long article, so I'm going to just highlight the meat and potatoes. I'm sure you guys don't care about all of these very, these very meticulous technical indicators from XYZ. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Chart technical analysis is a lot of numbers, a lot of very very lengthy words that I'm sure a lot of you don't care about and will not mind that I skip over. So let's go down here to where they actually talk about what the title of the video is. So if you did want to check this out, though, you can. If you want to go over all of, all of these numbers, if you want to go over all of the COMEX holdings, you can. I'll post the link in the description as well. So let's scroll on down here. They mention, I think it's right here, it's from here down. So they mention how there is huge quantities of silver that will be required by all the silver ETFs and mutual funds once institutional buying finally kicks in, which it has yet to do. Adding to that demand will be silver required to cover some or all of the short positioning in the SLV, and since the end of May, a net 24.9 million troy ounces of silver have been added to the SLV, and a net 2.539 million has been added to the COMEX in the last 4 weeks. As Ted stated very recently, it would appear that JP Morgan has parted with well over 500 million troy ounces of the at least 1 billion troy ounces that they've accumulated since 2011. If they continue in this vein, they are going to have to cough up even more ounces to feed this year's deficit. Another 215 million of them, according to the latest report from the Silver Institute, which would include the approximately 120 million ounces that India has purchased so far this year that we know of. I mean, this is getting crazy. The physical demand in the silver at wholesale level continues unabated, and that was on full display yet again this week, as frantic deposits and withdrawals continued at the COMEX, SLV, Wisdom Tree, and other ETFs and mutual funds. The amount of silver being physically moved, withdrawn, or changing ownership seems to be hitting new heights with each passing week, and that trend continues unabated. This, as Ted had been pointing out for years, mentioning Ted Butler, rest in peace, by the way, he passed away a couple weeks ago. He was the one that exposed the COMEX corruption the most. He dedicated his entire life to exposing COMEX corruption and exposing silver's true value. So that's who he's referring to when he mentioned, as Ted's been pointing out for years, is a sure sign that 1,000 ounce good delivery bars are becoming even harder to find. New silver had been brought in from other sources, JP Morgan, to meet the ongoing demand for physical metal. This will continue until available supplies are depleted, which will be the moment that JP Morgan and friends stop providing silver to feed this deepening structural deficit, now in its 4th year. And these deficits are getting very, very steep. I'm talking about 500 million ounces in the red just the last 3 years alone. 500 million ounces, 190 million ounces last year alone. They're predicting it could be several hundred million ounces this year. The vast majority of precious metals being held in these depositories are by those who won't be selling until the silver price is many multiples of what it is today. And that's a thing to think about. Now, it's now been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that 103 million troy ounces of that amount in COMEX is actually held in trust for SLV by JP Morgan, according to a letter Ted received from the CFTC earlier this year that brings JP Morgan's actual silver warehouse stocks down to around the 25 million troy ounce mark, which is insane. Quite a bit different than the 128.4 million they indicate they have, which is set up a hair from what they have showed last Friday. But the PSLV is still some distance behind the SLV, as they are the largest silver depository with 438.6 million troy ounces as Friday's close, which in the last 3 years alone is what our entire deficit was. The latest short report from June 26th showed that the short positioning the SLV fell by 16.23% from 25 million shares sold short in the prior short report down to 20.98 million shares sold short. BlackRock issued a warning several years ago to all those short SLV that there might come a time when there wouldn't be enough metal for them to cover. That would only be true if JP Morgan decides not to supply it to whatever an entity requires it, which is most certainly a U.S. bullion bank or perhaps more than one. The next short report will be posted on the Wall Street Journal's website early next Wednesday evening, July 10th, and I'm expecting another decline, but this report is a tough call. So there's also the 1 in a billion or the 1 billion ounce short position in silver held by Bank of America in the OTC market with JP Morgan and friends on the long side. Ted says it hasn't gone away, and he's come to the conclusion that they're short around 25 million ounces of gold with these same parties as well. The latest report for the first quarter 2024 from the OCC came out about 10 days ago, and after careful scrutiny, I noted that nothing much had changed since the fourth quarter of 23. As I've been mentioning all week, because of the U.S. Independence Day on Thursday, the COT and Companion Bank participation reports won't show up on the CME's website until Monday. So yeah, there you have it. There's a lot more information in this if you guys wanted to check it out. It goes over a lot of information, folks. Like, yes, and like here's another example. They mention there's a headline, "The Bonfire of Silver Shorts." They post the link to these. I mean, here's some of these bars that they're mentioning. I mean, you can, and these are the 1,000-ounce COMEX bars. But you guys can, do your homework yourself. Don't always just, rely on me. Yes, it's nice that I can do a lot of the work for you. And I try to not steer the article in a direction of what I think. I just try to read the article, and I'll throw in my 2 cents here and there when I feel like I have something to add to it. But, try to remain open-minded and unbiased and take this information as it comes. I do highly recommend that you check out, some other videos that go deeper into the silver deficit, but also mentioning what's happening behind the scenes to not only cause it, but what the consequences would be, the aftermath. For example, this video, because let's look, like right here, the Coinage Act of 1965, remarks from President Lyndon B. Johnson mentioning silver as a scarce material. Our uses of silver is growing as our population and our economy grows. The hard fact is that silver consumption is now more than double new silver production each year. He mentioned that in 1965, almost to the date, July 22nd, 1965. Going over the military stuff when they stopped showing their numbers, the Defense Department's numbers in 1995, and then the DOD, or I think it was the which one was it? Then it was the the U.S. defense departments was 2002, one of those. It was 1995 and 2002 on each. But regardless, this is stuff you got to know, because this is where the pieces of the puzzle start to fit into play, and you could see why the military needs so much silver, and or how detrimental this could be at the end of the day, because of silver needed for so many things, like Tomahawk missiles, which require 500 ounces. Not only just that, though, even the littler things like drones or satellites or space equipment, or silver lithium ion batteries, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's just nice to do a little bit of history research, looking at some of the interesting things that have led us to where we are now. So anyways, yeah, hope you checked out that video, because I do really enjoy it. And I love learning about that type of stuff, because that is the missing puzzle piece, is the military side of things. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Click the bell so you get notified as soon as I post every day. And also make sure to comment down below and share this video with a friend as well. It's very late at night, so I'm going to go to bed, but I wanted to sneak one more video in. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.